Say you come into $100,000, maybe an inheritance, a bonus, years of saving finally paying off. You have two obvious choices: keep it safe in a savings account, or put it into the market and risk it. Almost everyone assumes the safe choice is the smart choice. The math tells a very different story, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly how to think about it for your own money. Let's start with the savings account. Right now, a decent high-yield savings account might pay you somewhere around 4 to 5% interest a year. That sounds solid. $100,000 at 4.5% grows to about $104,500 after just 1 year. But inflation is usually running around 3% a year, so your real gain, what that money can actually buy, is closer to 1.5%, not 4.5%. Now, let's look at investing that same $100,000. Historically, a diversified stock market index fund has returned somewhere around 7 to 10% a year, on average, after accounting for inflation. Not every year. Some years, it's down 20%. Some years, it's up 25%. 2008 was brutal. 2019 was excellent. But averaged out over long stretches of decades. That's the historical pattern. Here's where the math gets interesting. If your money grows at 1.5% a year after inflation in a savings account, $100,000 becomes roughly $116,000 in real terms after 10 years. If that same money grows at 7% a year after inflation in the market, it becomes roughly $197,000 in real terms over the same 10 years. That's not a small gap. That's the difference between a nice cushion and nearly doubling your money in real, inflation-adjusted terms. Stretch it to 20 years, and the savings account grows to around $135,000 in real terms. The invested money grows to around $387,000. Go to 30 years, and savings sits around $156,000. Invested, it's closer to $760,000. The gap doesn't just grow, it compounds. Every year, the difference gets wider, not narrower, because you're not just earning returns on your original money, you're earning returns on your previous returns too. So, why does anyone keep large amounts of money sitting in savings for the long term? Because the market feels risky in a way a savings account doesn't. Watching your balance drop 20% in a bad year feels like losing money. Even if it recovers later, that feeling is real, and it's not irrational. Short-term volatility is a real psychological cost, even if the long-term math favors investing. So, does that mean you should never keep money in savings? No. This is where most advice oversimplifies things. Money you'll need in the next 1 to 3 years, an emergency fund, a house down payment next year, a planned expense. That money shouldn't be in the market. A 20% drop right before you need the cash is a real problem, not a theoretical one. The real question was never savings or investing. It was always, what is this specific money for, and when do I need it? Short-term needs belong in savings, where stability matters more than growth. Long-term goals, retirement, wealth building, money you won't touch for 5, 10, 20 years. That's where the market's higher average return has time to work in your favor and smooth out the bumps along the way. Here's a practical way to think about it. Take your $100,000. If 3 to 6 months of expenses and any near-term goals add up to $20,000, that $20,000 stays in savings. The remaining $80,000, money you genuinely won't need for years, is where the math strongly favors investing it, instead of letting inflation quietly erode it in a savings account. One more thing worth knowing. You don't have to invest all $80,000 on a single day. Many people spread a large sum across several months instead, buying in gradually rather than all at once. This won't necessarily improve your returns. Historically, lump sum investing tends to outperform slightly over time, but spreading it out can make the decision emotionally easier, which matters if it's the difference between actually investing and staying frozen in cash out of fear. What about risk tolerance? Doesn't that matter too? It does, but risk tolerance is often confused with risk capacity. Risk tolerance is how you feel watching the market drop. Risk capacity is whether you can actually afford to wait it out without needing that money. A lot of people avoid investing because of how it feels in the moment, not because of their actual financial situation. That feeling costs real money over decades. Here's a mistake worth naming directly. The biggest damage to long-term investors usually doesn't come from the market falling. It comes from panic selling near the bottom, then staying in cash and missing the recovery. Markets have recovered from every major downturn in history so far, eventually. The investors who got hurt worst weren't the ones who stayed invested through a crash. They were the ones who sold at the bottom and never got back in. There's also a tax angle worth a quick mention. Many countries offer retirement or investment accounts with tax advantages, contributions that reduce taxable income, or growth that isn't taxed until withdrawal. Using those accounts, where available, can meaningfully increase your effective returns compared to investing the same money in a fully taxable account. It's worth checking what's available where you live before deciding how to invest that $80,000. This is the part nobody puts on a thumbnail. Playing it safe isn't free. It has a cost, it's just invisible. It doesn't show up as a withdrawal. It shows up as growth you never got. 10 years from now, the version of you with money sitting in savings and the version of you with money invested will both feel like they made the safe, reasonable choice at the time. Only one of them will actually be right, in hindsight. For money they didn't need short-term. To bring it all together, figure out what the money is actually for first. Short-term needs and emergencies stay in savings, full stop, no exceptions. Long-term money gets invested, ideally spread across a diversified fund, rather than picking individual stocks, ideally inside any tax-advantaged account available to you, and then largely left alone through the inevitable ups and downs. That $100,000 was never just sitting there or growing there. It was quietly becoming one number or a very different number, based on a decision most people never think through carefully. Subscribe for more money tales.